Hello, everyone. In this episode, I'm going to ramble a bit. I had a long conversation via text with a friend of mine today. I had made a post about um, crypto and how I think, in my opinion, again, this is not financial advice, just like the title says. In my opinion, um, we're at the bottom of a crypto dip or a downturn or a sell off, whatever you want to call it. Crypto, Bitcoin in particular, has lost a lot of value, 40, 50% over the last week or so, um, in the end of May 2021. And what does that mean? Why did it happen? Basically, my answer is that because there were so many people getting into crypto for the first time, so many people that had for the first time put money into Bitcoin or Ethereum or even Dogecoin or one of the other crypto coins, um, that a downswing sell off, a panic sell, was inevitable. It was always going to happen. And the reason is most people aren't familiar with ups and downs of markets, especially a lot of the people that had started buying Bitcoin for this first time. And here's the reason I believe that this will be the biggest sort of sell off or crash we're going to have for a long time in Bitcoin, maybe ever, is because the next upswing and the subsequent downswing after that next upswing, maybe later this year, maybe next year, but it will happen. It won't be as fast or as high a percent as this one because there will be more institutional buying. We're already seeing that in 2021. There is more institutional investment in crypto and in Bitcoin than ever, and that will continue to happen over this year and next year. So the next time that there's a dip, there will be people panicking just like now, but it won't be as high a percent of the overall investment in crypto, in Bitcoin, let's say, is the main example, because it leads the way right now. Whatever it does, all the rest follow. And that brings me to my next point, sort of that, he asked me, should he buy Bitcoin or one of the other ones? I said, well, Bitcoin leads the way, and you're never going to do bad to buy Bitcoin. But right now, the other coins have more of an upside. So they have more of a downside, meaning they go from $2 to $1, but they could go to $10 a lot easier than Bitcoin will go to $500,000 per coin. So I see it as if you want to maximize your investment, you diversify, of course, but have maybe 10% in Bitcoin and 10% in Ethereum and maybe Cardano and a few other ones. And now you sort of are spread out throughout, the ability to have overall gains, but the highest gains in with a low risk by being diversified. So all of the problems that Bitcoin and all the other cryptocurrencies are trying to solve will happen. It's just a matter of when. And so I see it as a very low risk investment. Everyone says, don't invest more than you're willing to lose. And my background before I got into solar and energy, I was I grew up on a farm, but then I got into poker. And poker gave me a lot of really great skills and a lot of perspectives on life and especially markets. And I want to talk about one of those because it ties into everything: the energy market, the stock market, crypto markets. So, a market that's completely unregulated, unmanipulated by an outside source um, is going to have volatility. It's going to have big swings up and down. And crypto is that market right now. It's the most widespread, unregulated market that every country in the world, except for the ones that are trying to change things, are participating in this market. China is changing right now. It's been one of the biggest, despite what anyone says about someone's Twitter account. That's really what I see as one of the biggest players to affect this current downswing. China's a huge player in the crypto market. They're the number one place to mine cryptocurrency or create Bitcoin by solving the blockchain with computers and the complex hashing that happens to solve that. And I'm not an expert on this at all, but basically they're using power, electricity to run these computers, which creates the money and the currency, the crypto, the Bitcoin. It's a proof of work, which means the work that the miners are doing, that the computers are doing, is what creates the currency. China has had cheap power right? Their cost per kilowatt hour compared to America's is lower, and so is Russia's. So you have a lot of mining happening there. So I think right now it's a really good opportunity to invest in mining in America, because in China it's going to be harder to do and harder to move that money around if you're creating it in China. I don't know exactly what will happen. Again, not an expert there, but I was never going to do any mining in China. I was always going to do it in America. And I think right now you're going to be able to get equipment from China to do that cheaper than ever before. So that's what I'll be doing. And I will be running that equipment on solar power. And that's what sort of leads me to this talk and how it relates to my company, Awaken Solar, Awaken Energy, is that energy is money. For the past few years that I've been working in solar, I have been able to understand that everyone's power bill is something they pay, and everyone pays it based on how much power they use. So every kilowatt hour, every watt that a light bulb uses equates to a certain amount of money. Okay. And so Bitcoin is digital money, which means it exists on the internet, and it is, very similar to currently to the current way we use money anyway. Most people never handle hard cash in their day-to-day lives. Most people don't, buy or sell anything with gold or silver anymore. We used to. Coins used to have real gold and silver value, and a coin that was made of silver in America would be worth a certain amount based on the silver content in another country. And that's still the case with old coins. But today, your money from your job probably gets directly deposited into a bank account. And my friend said, well, a bank is always going to be able to give me my cash. I said, not so fast. Banks default all the time. Your deposits may be insured, but banks can deny you access based on an error in the banking system. They might have somebody by the same name who's a criminal and lock down your accounts, and you can't access your money for a while. Credit cards get frozen, bank accounts, debit cards get frozen, and if there's a run on the bank, your cash isn't able to be withdrawn. That's happened throughout history multiple times. I remember when I was in college, there was a bank named Washington Mutual. Many of you might remember Washington Mutual, WAMU, and they offered free checking, no strings attached, no minimum, just free checking. You got your debit card, you got checks, you had a checking account, you kept money in it, it was free. When the downturn happened in 2007, 2008, I guess is the official year, there was a run on the bank, and Washington Mutual was one of the first banks where it had a lot of people who weren't paying for bank accounts, basically got scared and pulled their money out of that bank first. And it went under. It basically was bought out by Chase. My Washington Mutual account, I couldn't get the money out of it, and it basically became a Chase account. So eventually, Chase had my money, and I was able to continue banking with them. But there was a time, this happened just a year or two ago, that I deposited money into Chase, cash into Chase, and because a branch manager had some issues, made a mistake, basically I couldn't get my money back out to buy a vehicle that I was trying to buy. That's why I put the money in there to start with, and then I tried to pull it out the next day, and they held it up for weeks. And so that happens. It has happened to tons of people. And just to get back to the main point, Bitcoin and crypto allow you access to your money from any computer. And he said, well, what if there's a new internet, or the computer systems go down, or your money gets hacked? I said, that's really, if you do it the right way, that's almost impossible. The entire global internet and electric grid would have to go down for there to be no cryptocurrency tomorrow, right? And if that was the case, no money would matter. If there was an event that took out the entire grid and took out the banking systems, it wouldn't matter if it took out the crypto system, it would also take out the banking system. So some of these what ifs are really the same weaknesses of any money. It can be stolen. You can lose access to it. Crypto and Bitcoin, they actually have the highest likelihood that you'll always have access to your money. If you remember your passcode, your wallet address, you can access that anywhere. It doesn't even have to be written down. So no one can hack that if you have it and you keep it secure. You could keep your money in different wallets, have only a few thousand in each wallet. So you can do that. It's a really great way to be able to access money. And if you were, let's say something did happen in your country, back with the world wars, you don't have to go back that far to think back to those kind of situations and people kind of fleeing certain governments and certain countries and going to a new place, and they kind of had to start from scratch. You wouldn't have to do that if you had a digital account that no government could seize, and that is crypto. But back to kind of why it's money and energy being money. If you have a lot of solar panels, and the solar panels are using electricity they generate from sunlight to mine a cryptocurrency that then is an investment for you, those kilowatts are directly turned into money. And I would venture to say that in 1 year, the power of electricity today, which in America is average about 10 cents per kilowatt hour, is going to be more next year and more the year after that. And the value of cryptocurrency will be even more. And so you'd get double your gains, basically. That's my theory. That's what I'm doing with Awaken Solar. I'll be putting that on my channel, creating mining rigs, and I'll show you how to do that with solar panels, basically to create money, to turn the electricity they create into money. You don't even need the grid to do this, so you can be 100% renewable, 100% solar, 100% sustainable, and create money with electricity that you own. That's the beauty of solar power. It's also decentralized, and that's another beautiful correlation with cryptography cryptocurrency and solar, is that they're both decentralized technologies. If you have all of the different points of generation with solar on top of all these homes and roofs of businesses now, and potentially vehicles, you have a decentralized system that's almost impossible to take out. There's no one point of failure that will cause a rolling blackout. And our grid is currently really weak because of that, and decentralizing it with solar makes it a lot more resilient, makes it a lot more reliable. America has one of the least reliable grids of first world countries, and we have more power outages than most first world countries, and they cost us a lot when that happens, cost the economy a lot. So solar is a way to prevent that. And then with crypto, it's also a decentralized form of currency where no one entity is going to control it. You have decentralized exchanges, which are platforms that basically the whole network, all of the laptops, all of the computers that are running that network, that are basically making the internet what it is, also make the cryptocurrency what it is. So in a nutshell, mining cryptocurrency with solar power, I think, is a match made in heaven, and one that I'll be investing in heavily right now. I think anyone would be wise to do the same. And if they want to look at powering their home or business with solar power, go to awakensolar.com. And if you want to learn about mining rigs and solar powered mining rigs that I'll be making, stay tuned on Awaken Solar's channel. And I look forward to sharing that with you. Project Griffin will be basically trial number one. I'll have the vehicle that I created and drove across the country, the electric truck that drove all the way across America using nothing but solar power, using no grid power. I'll start using that power to run my studio. This is currently in my house, but I'll be running the studio from the mobile Project Griffin solar powered studio on wheels, and I'll also be mining Bitcoin from that rig when it's sitting in the sun. So that's my plan. I hope this wasn't too long-winded, but power is money and money is power now. That's become so clear with digital currency. Even if you took cryptocurrency and Bitcoin out of the equation, money is now powered on a digital network. It is the internet anyway. We've long gone are the days where we have all these coins and a coin purse, and our money is this solid thing. Yes, you can get cash, and some people do still interact with cash. When I was playing poker every day, you had cash. You went to the casino and you got your cash and your chips, and you cashed out. You had to have hard cash. You'd go to the ATM, let's say, and get cash to play, but there was you couldn't write a check at any of the poker tables I ever played at. So you couldn't use a credit card. Oh, I do want to get back to the mindset. So again, the market volatility that most people are experiencing right now, and they panic, that became normal to me playing poker. And any poker player has been on what they call a downswing. Basically, you can play perfectly. You'll have the best hand, pocket aces in Texas Hold'em, and you'll go all in pre-flop and you'll lose, right? Someone will draw out. And if that happens a couple times in a short time period, maybe in the same day even, you lose with the best hand over and over. It's called a downswing. You were supposed to win money, but you lost money. And when that happens, you just ride it out. You ride that downswing until it reverses. And statistically, over a long enough period of time, a short downswing will turn into an upswing if you're playing well, if you're getting your money in good. And in a market that doesn't have government manipulation, doesn't have a Fed, doesn't have an interest rate that can change to soften those blows to the normal person, the swings seem, a lot greater when it's really just normal variance. And Bitcoin has had its share of variance and volatility. And I think those days of high variance are ending really quickly. And that will also help sort of have the average person be comfortable investing. Once enough institutions get around it, for better or worse, or invested in Bitcoin, you'll see the volatility go down, and you'll see, but basically the upside will go down as well. You won't have as much of those parabolic gains in cryptocurrencies where institutions are basically having a huge piece of the pie. So it's a pro and con type thing. I also don't think Bitcoin is going to go anywhere. I don't think in the next 10, 20 years there's any chance it doesn't do anything but keep growing, as well as a lot of the other alternative coins. Yes, there are hundreds of them right now, maybe even thousands, and most of them will not be around in 5 years or even 1 year perhaps. But a lot of them are tackling some really amazing things. The technology behind NFTs and smart contracts and all the other things that these decentralized, cryptocurrencies are going to solve is really amazing. I don't think anyone younger than me is going to deny the fact that it's the future of how they'll be exchanging value, ideas, and doing business. It will be through digital and decentralized blockchain technology based services. So it's a mouthful. I probably misspoke there, but that's the way I see it. That's how power is money. This is not financial advice, but I think anyone would do well to invest in solar and use that power, the extra power that they're making, maybe buy a few extra panels and a computer to run crypto mining. And I'll be doing a lot more research into this in the coming months and look forward to sharing it on this channel. So stay tuned to Awaken Solar on social, and hope everyone has a great week.